This is not a Pokemon shop. It's a Star Wars shop. Get out of here. Oh, hey. Welcome to this next season of Meet the Crew. Okay, so we're here for another fun episode of Meet the Crew, and today we're sitting with Patty. So Patty, go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yes, I am Patty. I do love Star Wars. I also love Harry Potter and baking and hanging out with my friends.
We meet each other through work in a town, and then all of a sudden now you're one of our crew members, and you're here all the time helping out.
Yeah. So yeah, I think I had some Star Wars little figurines on my desk, and then we started to talk, and I realized you and Nicole were so, high up and experienced. So eventually I said, you know what, I think I want to join. I want to, see what this is about.
So it wasn't your first, so what I'm getting at is that you kind of delved a little bit into cosplay and costuming and making some stuff.
Yes.
So what are things that you made before you met us?
Before I met you guys, I had been to a couple Comic Cons. I made a Sharknado costume for when I met Tara Reid. That was very poor quality compared to what we're doing here, but that was a lot of fun. Also a big Kevin Smith fan. So when he had a record-breaking attempt for the most amount of people dressed as Jay and Silent Bob, I showed up in my blonde wig and was Jay.
And that's how I started. A lot of us, we started with just throwing together some kind of Halloween type costume or something for a convention or a con, just with found parts and that kind of make it look like it. And then you talk to me and Nicole, and we realize you actually made legit costumes.
Yeah.
I'd be interested in that. And then I know we had so our first set was we were going to make Jawas. Mm-hmm. And then COVID hit, unfortunately, right when we got the ball rolling on that.
Go.
But then once the pandemic was over, we circled back around, and you were one of the first ones that's hey, I'm still interested. Let's make these Jawas.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about that experience, making the Jawas.
That was a very interesting experience. I learned how to cut, how not to cut. That measuring is important. Yes. And of course, most importantly, that we all hate monk's cloth.
Oh my goodness.
I don't think I'll do another costume like that.
No, monk's cloth is just the bane of existence. I can't stand it. But that was fun because, I had made a lot of costumes, a lot of props, had a lot of experience with stuff, but, I never made a Jawa. And I had dealt a little bit with monk's cloth before, but not on this scale. And, at the Brodustrial way, it's we don't need research, we don't need measuring, we kind of know how to do it, let's do it. And I'm laying on the floor and you're tracing around me. We made one for me first because I didn't want to waste your guys' material if it was an epic fail. And it was never really an epic fail, but we didn't measure correctly. We didn't account for certain, widths and depths and things. We were just kind of winging it. And but every costume we made did eventually work out, and some of them are just going to be display mannequins. Some of them are for the kids, for my kids because they're a little less than perfect. But we did, with the help of, some of our other crew members, figure out how to do it correctly. We were 99% there. We just needed a little bit of help on some of the stuff. What was the funnest part of making your Jawa costume? Because we made you make it. That's part of the crew. Is we don't make costumes for you. We make them with you.
After you get some of the skills down, it's easier to help other people do it. Shelby coming in, helping me learn how to sew. That was awesome. I'm still a little afraid to do it, but now I know that I can. So starting to help other people, it's really nice to learn a skill yourself and then be able to show someone else. We've done a couple different variations of how big the hood should be. So once we figure out what that good size is, then we can easily bang them out. We could do a whole arming of Jawas, and I think that's sort of the plan.
Yeah, I'm laughing because, the hood, because I hate measuring, I hate writing stuff down, And you've been here for at least 5 or 6 of the Jawas, and every time I go, Patty, what measurement did we use? And you're like, I forget, let me see, let's look it up. And the one template we have is in centimeters, and I refuse to figure out inches and centimeters, so I just guess. But yeah, some of them came out really big, some of them came out really soft. You learned, some weathering, and worked with the leather, the bandoliers. So what other things have you learned?
I've learned how to use the spray paint quite well. I hadn't done that before, but I painted the eyes for mine and a couple other costumes. Learning how to weather the plastics and 3D printed.
The blasters, right? You made when you made your Jawa blaster, we printed it out and they gave you the pieces, and then you did all that.
Yeah, that was really awesome to see. I'm like, you can do some of this stuff. Definitely need a little bit of help, but you guys show us how to do it, and it comes out well.
So we take someone who might not have a lot of skill in the things that you want to make, and we showed you that, made you do it yourself. It came out great. You're a newer member. You're official, both 501st Legion and Rebel Legion. And you've done a couple events. So I know you haven't had a ton of events, but what's some of your experience so far at these events?
What's really fun for me is when I see little kids, either at the comic book show or when we're at the Blue Claws, just seeing them be happy to see your character is really, really fun. Helping out and raising money for charities. I've been a part of a lot of volunteer organizations, and this one just seemed a good fit.
Yeah, that's what we find is like a lot of us have that desire to help others and share with the community and get involved. And the Legion, the Star Wars fan clubs, that's all about it. We make the costumes. We can't just wait for Halloween to come around once a year to wear something. We want to wear it all the time and show it off. And besides the conventions where it's more just for fun and recruiting and showcase, the main focus is the community groups. The library events, the National Night Out, the school stuff, just everything that we do to hospitals. Speaking of hospitals, one thing we have here is the accident board.
Yes.
And we actually made it to triple digits. I don't know how, and I will say that probably like 60 of those days was because we were building some things that involved paint, and there was no sharp objects anywhere near the site. We do frequently reset the accident board, and you've been here plenty of times. So tell us about some of the close calls that you've seen, because I know you were there where you're like, oh, and we didn't reset it, but you've also been there where we're like, ow, and we did reset it.
Every time I hear someone go, oh, or ow, I'm very nervous because I like to try to keep everything nice and keep that record going. So I was very upset when I wasn't here when you guys broke the over 100 one. It was something silly.
Safety Dave, he was our safety officer at one point, and then he's, cutting towards, and you're like, what are you doing? Do it the other way. He's like, I'll be fine. And then next thing you know, reset.
Yeah, I've had to actually label some parts, bro, do not touch. Because you were going at it also, scraping toward yourself and hitting yourself.
Yes, I have a bad habit of running my finger along sharp edges to see if they're still sharp, and touching things to see if they're still hot. And you guys do yell at me for that. You did, you actually did put a label, said do not touch bro, because we were trying to get to triple digits. And we did, and I wasn't the one that reset it, so that's good. You can't just have one costume if you're in the group, right? And if you're part of Brodustrial, besides making the props, you have to make some more costumes. So what's in your future? What are some things that you would like to make if you have an idea?
I haven't fully decided on the next one, but I think that, as everyone says, I do want to do a Stormtrooper.
Yeah.
Because that's the classic. That's what the first one. That's what drew you in.
Well, thank you for sitting down with us. Thank you for being part of our crew and our club. Let's go see if these guys have reset the accident board and not told us yet.
I hope not.
All right, thanks.